welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Debbie. This is my Crafty Dan, and I have some Halloween DIYs for you today. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 projects. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I've done to help me decorate my little house and a little bit in my front yard. So I hope you enjoy them, and let's get to it. So I have this hat that I got from the Salvation Army, and I paid 99 cents for it, but it's actually a hat from Dollarama, so you might still be able to find these. And I'm gluing a piece of the plastic sign. This was the sign that was in my front yard during the pre-election time, and I'm putting it in there just to keep the hat firm so that it'll keep its shape, keep that nice triangle shape that I want. I don't want the hat bunching up. And I'm taking the legs and I'm going to glue them in there. I'm just going to glue them so they're coming down from the bottom of the hat. And I put a lot of glue on here, guys. I wanted them to stay. If it turns a little bit cold outside, I don't want these to drop out of the bottom of my hat because I want to hang this on my door. So it's hanging. They're hanging there. And they're in the spot that I want them. And now I'm just going to put a ton of glue on here to make sure that these are going to stay. So I'm holding that stick down so that it's tight against the plastic board, sign board that I put inside the hat, and making sure that there's a nice connection there. Then I'm pushing the front of the hat down into it so it'll all be glued together. And then I'm going to take just an extra bead and put it along the bottom of the hat, but above the brim so that the brim will still have that ruffle look that it's got. And I think I've got everything where I want it now, but I want to add something to the front of this. So I've got this sign. I think it's a Dollar Tree sign. It was in my stash and it doesn't have a sticker on it. So I'm assuming it's Dollar Tree. And I am going to paint it. So I don't have any orange paint. So I'm making orange paint. And I don't want it a deep orange. A nice light orange is fine with me. So that's what I've done. This is just a shade darker than a peach. It's actually a little bit darker than it looks on the camera. But it's a nice orange color. I just took some yellow and then added a bit of red. It doesn't take much red to turn that yellow orange. And I'm using that to paint the word wicked. I really like, I love this sign, and I think I'm going to paint it different colors. I thought of just painting it all black, and that just didn't work for me. So, colors. And I'm going to paint the front and the back of this because it's a really thin wood. Like these little wood signs are really thin, and I don't want it to fall apart and start to peel and warp if it gets wet. So I'm going to paint the whole sign, front and back, and I think that will help weatherproof it a little bit. So I just put a little bit of yellow on the moon. The moon should be yellow, right? Once this is all dry, I'm just giving it a final coat on both sides with some dishwasher safe Mod Podge. I didn't have anything else here that would protect it from the elements better than something that is safe to go in a dishwasher. So now that's dry and I'm putting this all together. So I have my hat with the legs sticking out the bottom. I put some wet glue on the back of this sign, and now I'm just putting some hot glue on here to give it a really quick fix. And then I'm putting a little hanger on the back. I have some of this twist tie, so I'm just bunching up both ends, putting a bunch of glue on here, and then I am going to cut a few little circles out of some cardboard, and I'm going to just stick them on the back to hold this hanger down. So here's what it looks like, guys, on the outside of my door. But I have some spooky cloth hanging over the glass. And then I have some bats on there, and I have my Wicked Witch hat door hanger. So I think it looks really cute. Moving on to project number 2, I'm taking another one of those wooden signs, and I'd already painted it black when I had my black paint out for the other one. Of course, I didn't like it, so now I'm doing multiple layers of orange on the pumpkin to cover over the black, and I'm using a white acrylic paint pen. If you don't have any paint pens, really invest in some because they make your life so much easier. And I am going to outline all 3 of these bats. It is just the finishing touch that this little sign needs. Look how cute those little bats are once they're all outlined. So yeah, once this is all done, I'm just going to set this aside, let the paint dry, and then I am going to give this sign a good coat of Mod Podge as well. Yeah, these signs, I love these signs, but they're so flimsy. So anything that I can do to help them stand up against the elements, I am going to do. And I live in a part of the country where, the weather can get pretty nasty at this time of the year. So this sign is definitely going to be outside. So I'm going to do what I can do to protect it. So I have this election sign that came from my front yard after the recent election, and I took a pencil and a string and just made a big circle and cut it out and started to spray paint it with some chalk paint, but I ran out. So yeah, I barely got a layer on here. So I am going to paint this with my craft paint, but I'm going to add a little bit of Mod Podge, that dishwasher safe Mod Podge, to this just because I have it out. And I added a little bit so that it would kind of make a primer. These signs are plastic. And you could probably do the same thing with the corrugated poster board from Dollarama or Dollar Tree. And I want this to be a moon. So yeah, I'm doing a coat of paint on here with the Mod Podge, and then I'm going to let it dry. And then I'll just go over it with a couple of coats of the straight acrylic paint and put another coat of the dishwasher safe Mod Podge to seal it. And now is assembly time. So the first thing I have to do is put these legs back in. So of course this was a candidate sign in the front yard and it had legs on it. I pulled the legs off to work with it, and I am going to use a combination of hot glue and a liquid glue to glue the Happy Halloween sign and the 3 bats to the front of the moon. Guys, this is going to look so great out in my front yard. So first I put some of this gel grip glue. I think this was the stuff that I got from Dollarama, and I just thought I'd try it out. But yeah, I put some of that on the bats and then took the hot glue gun and put a little bit of hot glue on each one and stuck them on there. What I'm hoping is that if the hot glue gives out, the other glue will keep the bats from falling off, during the bad weather that we're bound to have between now and Halloween. And of course, all moons have to have some shading. So I just dry brushed some black around the moon to give it a little bit of depth and some smudges. And this is the finished product. The black shading just is perfect on here. So the next project can hardly be called a DIY. I'm basically just gluing some Dollarama pieces together. So I'm making a kind of a Halloween candy display. And I thought it would be kind of cool to take the skull, the skull plate and bowl and the actual skull that's made of styrofoam and just glue them together. So first I had to use some black paint and paint around the outside, the sides of the bowl. I'm not doing the bottom because I'm going to glue that to the top of the skull, and I don't want to have a layer of paint between the glue. So all I'm using to glue this together, I think I used a little bit of the clear Gorilla Glue to glue these pieces together. But so this is the only DIY part that I'm doing, is just painting around the outside of the bowl, and then I'm going to glue the two pieces together, or the three pieces together. And so here it is, just sitting on my coffee table, and I'm just going to put some candies in it, and there it's going to sit. The next one, which is project number 4, I believe, it has been inspired by these wonderful little elixir and potion bottle labels that I got from Sticky Club and saved them for these bottles. And the first step in making these jars is to clean off the stickers and then remove any smudges and fingerprints or anything like that. I just have a paper towel with a little bit of rubbing alcohol on it. And now they're all clean. I have to give these a coat of black paint. So that's literally all I did. One coat. I didn't even care if it was really, opaque coverage. I just did one good coat of black acrylic paint on all of the jars and the lids. And once they're dry enough to work with, I'm going to take the 2 little apothecary style jars, and I am going to stipple this leaf green acrylic paint all over the black. I think that it gives this a really aged, older jar look. So I stippled the green, and I just keep playing with it until it's where I like it. So I did both jars. And then I put just a little bit of this off-white that I'm using, and black side by side on my napkin. And I just kind of mix a dry brush gray mixture right on the paper as I go. And then I start to stipple this on the jars as well. Now for these 2 jars, I just did a pouncing motion to stipple the 2 colors on there. And now my jars are dry. So I am going to choose from these stickers which labels I want to put on the outsides of the jars. These are so stinking cute, guys. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just choosing labels now and sticking the labels on the front. This is so easy to do. But of course, if you wanted to do these jars, you could print some labels and just print them on your computer and cut them out and stick them on, and then just use some Mod Podge to seal them in. I don't have a lid for this jar, so I just showed you that I have a cork that goes in the top of it. But yeah, I loved these stickers, and I absolutely wanted to use them. On the tall liquor bottle that I painted the whole thing black. Now this is a Dr. McGillicuddy's, I forget what was in here. Somebody gave me the bottle. I just said, give me that bottle. I'm going to make a Dr. McGillicuddy's. Like, it sounds like a potion place, right? But it is some kind of liquor. And I absolutely love this bottle. I just rubbed a little bit of the Tim Holtz metallic rub on there so that the writing would show up. And then I'm still going to stick a sticker on there as well. So I love the way that these jars turned out. I wanted a fortune teller's ball, and I had this little round vase or fishbowl type of thing that I picked up at the Salvation Army. And I just mixed a watered down Mod Podge with just a drop of white paint in it, just enough to make the glass cloudy when it dried. Not really cloudy, but almost clear cloudy, and it's not dry here yet. And then on the outside of it, I'm taking my Stickles glitter glue, and this is the, I forget what this color is called. It's the one that's clear with just the glitter in it, basically. And I'm putting little dots of glue all over the outside of this so that when it's dry and I throw some fairy lights in there, it's going to sparkle. So that's all I'm doing with this project. Very, very simple. And I'm not even going to make a base for it. I might at a future date if I decide to keep it, but right now I'm just putting the fairy lights in and setting the battery pack behind a jar on my little tray and lighting it up. So I hope you enjoyed these 5 little projects that I did for Halloween. I didn't do a lot this year, and I just at the last minute decided I was going to add a little bit to the decor that I had. I don't decorate as much now because I don't have kids coming to my house every day. So, but I do hope you enjoyed these 5 little projects. I hope you give them a try. And most of the stuff that you can find at the dollar stores or just at thrift stores. And I guess that's it, guys. Once again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. And I will see you all in the next video.